What's up, everybody? It's your boy Flash, and I'm here with my buddy Shelby, and we are At Least We Try Gaming. This is all things gaming. Pretty much, we're just little nerdy guys, just like to play video games, and this is our first episode. So thank you very much for tuning in. We're going to be having a series of different topics. This is our first episode, so we're going to have a different logo that's going to be coming soon. More content and giveaways. Actually, the next giveaway is actually going to be happening really, really soon, sooner than you expect. So first thing we're going to talk about is PlayStation Plus. Okay, so first and foremost, if you haven't known already, June has already hit. Big games are hitting right now, which is Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Call of Duty World War 2. So first and foremost, shelves. What are your thoughts?
Definitely two really great titles. Especially when those titles were actually really big. I actually still play Battlefront 2 into actually just a few months ago.
Yeah.
It took up a whole lot of space on my console, so I do need to get more space to hold that. But yeah, I mean the launch for that was a little shaky. Definitely not the greatest run for the very beginning, but after they made the updates and removed a lot of those in-app purchases, it was actually really good. I'm not really big into too many shooters, but Battlefront was actually one of my favorites, especially as a kid. OG Battlefronts 1 and 2 on PlayStation 2.
Yeah, most have. So, all right. So let me ask you this, because this is my own personal opinion. Okay, so last month PlayStation got a lot of heat for having two simulator type games. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, Farming Simulator and some Skyline type simulator, which honestly I'm not really
City Skyline.
Yeah. It was something like that. Yeah. So I'm not really a huge fan of those. I'll give them a try because I kind of do like The Sims, but I got to be in the mood for those. But those are a particular audience that they're targeting. I feel like they kind of did the same thing. You know what I mean? They have two shooters. Not everybody is a shooter. Now, granted, again, it's Call of Duty World War II and it's Star Wars Battlefront 2. So I don't think anyone's really complaining necessarily as far as much on a level as last month.
A few, but
yeah. But I was about to say, but this one in particular, to me, I'm kind of hoping for a shooter and a racer, or a shooter in an RPG, or a shooter in a sport, like kind of mix it up a little bit. So, I am very glad that Star Wars Battlefront 2 is free, because I was planning on trying to get it for a while, and now I have it free forever if I want to.
And I was a smarty pants and bought it, and now it's free. So it's always how it goes. Like, you buy it and you think like, oh, like it's not going to come out for free, and then several months down the line, you're like, I could have saved $40.
Right. Yeah, and that's exactly the boat I'm in. I'm saving that money. It's going to go straight on over to Last of Us 2. So, okay. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this though. Do you think it was wise to have Call of Duty be a free download now after Warzone is doing so hot?
I feel like in terms of I think in terms of that, definitely think it was a perfectly fine idea. I think that the game, especially back in the day, was really hot. I don't think that, and honestly, I don't think that they're really going to make any money off of it. I think that maybe, if anything, like just bringing back some nostalgia, trying to bring people back into that nostalgia by, putting that older game out for free, is probably going to get even more people into Warzone, if anything. So
right.
I think I see it more as a business strategy to try to get more players into Warzone. I, for one, haven't actually played Warzone yet, but after I downloaded that, it's definitely making me look more into it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, of course, for anyone that doesn't know, which I'm pretty sure everyone that's on Twitch and social media in general are gaming on Warzone right now. It's the Battle Royale setup, so it is a little different. Of course, the actual game itself you can always buy, but the Warzone, that platform is actually free. I guess I'm a little Call of Duty'd out. Like, I think Warzone was a good look, and I love playing Warzone. But as far as downloads go, I feel like they've given us a little too much within the past year. You know what I mean? I feel like they dropped probably about 3 or 4 different
I see
Call
what
of
you're
Duties. Yeah, just recently. So
Oh,
so yeah. So that's your PlayStation Plus. In case any of you guys are trying to get that, our next topic that's coming up right now is, let's see. Okay, so we are in a sense, we're in that year right now. I mean, they've always been doing this for quite some time, for a couple of years now, but we're in that year right now to where there's a lot of remakes and a lot of remasters. So, with that being said, what remasters slash remakes are you excited for? What remakes slash remasters are you wishing that they do? Almost like a gaming wish list. What from back on PlayStation 1, N64, GameCube, whatever.
You and I have had this talk quite a bit. One of the games that I really hope they bring back is Maximo. That
Yes.
was just really pretty short game series. They did have a sequel to it, but it was an older game for the PlayStation 2. That was probably one of my favorite games growing up as a kid on PlayStation 2. It was a really simple premise, and I definitely think that it was a easy to pick up game. It was a pretty decent platformer from what I remember. Now, don't quote me on that. I haven't played it in years, so I definitely would love to see some type of remaster of that, even if it's just like something really short, something simple. Even if it's just like the first game, like that would be perfectly fine for me. But Cam, what are your thoughts? What are you looking forward to?
So I have several different genres. I'm actually going to throw you some genres too.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
So for me in general, like they've already remade, not remastered. They remade one of my favorite games that actually made me a gamer, which we'll go to in a little bit later. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, to me, was the game of games for me. Final Fantasy Remake all day, every day, on the block, Millie Rock. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very happy that they made that. I beat it within 6 days. Had a full vacation day off, a full vacation week off work. So put in them hours, and it was just phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. But aside from that, big games that I really, really want is The Bouncer. Anyone that remembers that on PS2. If you haven't, YouTube it. You'll like it. It's a fighter type, adventure type almost, but you also play from several different people's perspective, depending on what you choose. So it's really, really, really cool. The Bouncer definitely won. I would like them to make Bloody Roar Primal. Actually, that was the only one I played, but that game was legit. And if you think of Tekken, it's Tekken, but Beast Wars. like in the middle of a combo, people always get annoyed by getting juggled and stuff. It looks cool, but when it's happening to you, not so fun. Yeah. So, but
it's never fun.
But in the middle of a combo, though, for Bloody Roar Primal, you can actually transform and break that combo so that way you can recollect yourself and think about your strategy of how to fight in martial arts. But the combo list, from what I remember, was just as long. Absolutely state of the art. I absolutely loved playing as Long was my dude. But yeah, and my buddy Moeezy was always he was always the newborn. It was some sort of alien looking thing. It was kind of weird, so I don't know what it really was trying to be, but it was good. It was a lot of fun. And then my last one that I wanted to throw out there is Legend of Dragoon. That one is that's a PS1.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about it because I'm just like, if you're going back at it, and they made Final Fantasy VII, because that's what Legend of Dragoon was practically like. It was practically a Final Fantasy-esque type story plot, and I think it was like 3 discs long and still and everything like that. Phenomenal story, phenomenal plot. I would love to have them remake that. I think it will be difficult to remake that. But I honestly would like to see that happen. I'm very, very optimistic about whatever company picks that up, if they decide to pick it up, what they do with that. So going on that, as far as RPGs, what would you say yours is? Other than, because I know you talked about Maximo. What other RPG genre would you say is your forte as far as a remake or a remaster?
Oof. Well, at this point, they've already gone back and remade and remastered all of the Kingdom Hearts games.
Yeah.
So that was definitely like my main thing. That was what got me into Final Fantasy, just because I wasn't actually introduced to that until after I started to play Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Turn-based didn't grab you?
So I actually that was more so my cousin. I had more so in terms of turn based. I was more of a Pokemon geek.
Oh yeah.
Like I had my Game Boy going around. I definitely had my Game Boy Pocket. Had the flashlights at night to try to make sure you could still see in the dark. But it wasn't that it didn't grab me. It was that I didn't know it was there. And after Kingdom Hearts kind of came out, it just really opened my mind up to all of the different possibilities. Right now, I'm still at the very beginning of what was it, Dragon Quest 11.
Oh yes.
It's that Yeah, that one I've heard a lot of really good things about. I still need to find the time to get into it, but so far what I've seen is really great. It doesn't seem like it's too difficult, and not to say that that's something that's off-putting, but it's the controls are pretty easy to pick up on. I think the voice acting for it's pretty spot on as well, and it looks like a really just a very casual game to just like really have fun with.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, yeah. I was about to say I honestly haven't dove too much inside the Dragon Quest series, to be honest with you. I know that we actually, me, Richard, and Levi, yeah, we took a picture. As we are leaving, we took a picture in front of one of the Dragon Quests, and I think a few of us even kind of demoed it a little bit while they had the little kiosk there. So that's definitely a lot of fun. That was at E3 2 years ago. So, what about shooters? Is there any shooters that you would like to see remastered or remade?
Now, I actually know that we just talked about this. I actually really wish that they'd actually remake the original Battlefront 2 for Star Wars. The one they have out now is perfectly fine. Definitely a great game. There are just some mechanics in the original one that I actually preferred. Mainly, the main thing that I miss is just the map size. Like now, I know that with this newer version of Battlefront 2, they've definitely, in terms of the maps, they might still be pretty large, but in terms of the combat, they've kind of limited your options in terms of how big the space is, where they have a lot of narrow hallways, a lot of narrow turns and twists, so that way they can try to keep things kind of really close to make sure that you're really getting close into the action. But if you look at other shooters like Apex and Fortnite, they're given a lot of space. And I'm not saying they need anything that large by any means, but just give more space to try to actually maneuver around. They have tanks in that game, so and one of the major downsides that I've found is that at least for me, trying to drive a tank or any sort of vehicle is just incredibly difficult because there's basically like one street that you can go up and down. You might be able to squeeze it into an alley, but that's just really difficult. I just prefer maybe a little bit more open space to try to hide and duck behind different things instead of feeling a little bit more claustrophobic.
Right.
What about you, Cam? What sort of shooters are you looking forward to?
So, with that being said, I do like shooters. I definitely do like shooters. I feel like right now there's not a lot of shooters that's really separating from Call of Duty, Apex, as you mentioned, stuff like that.
It's the formula.
Yeah, and it's a little bit difficult to decide on that one, but there's actually two that I have in mind. Resistance, if you played that on any of the PlayStation series, Resistance.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long while. So I think Resistance definitely would be a nice remake. And the last one would be Splinter Cell. I want to see a remake of Splinter Cell.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know why.
Good ones.
I don't know why. Yeah, I'm not sure why Splinter Cell. Maybe just because that's one of the shooters that actually kind of got me more inside the genre. The game that made me. Ooh, that's the next question I want to ask you. What is the game? What is that one game that was just like, ooh, I'm a gamer now? Like, what is it that flipped that switch for you? Because I know exactly what mine is, and anyone that knows me knows the answer to this, and it's not really lengthy, but I'll let you go first.
That's a really good question. You know what? I hate to be a broken record with this, but probably Kingdom Hearts is probably the one thing that I can remember just constantly going back to.
Yeah.
And I really think it was a lot of the RPG elements in terms of being able to equip different keyblades, being able to equip like different accessories and other different defensive items to give yourself different boosts in different areas. and it definitely introduced me into a lot more variety,
Mm-hmm.
especially at the very beginning of the game. Like it kind of gives you an option to say, hey, like what stats do you want to increase? What stats are you going to decrease? Because it completely changes the play style for sure. I mean, because like you could easily just say, okay, well, I want to increase my physical attack, but I want to lower my magic attack. But you could also try to have it a little bit more challenging and maybe just increase your magic and lower your defense, so that way you're pretty much just a glass cannon going all the way through, where you might be able to get some good hits in, but you get hit twice and you're out. That was definitely one of the main games that I remember going back to all the time, just replaying it constantly over and over, just trying to see if I missed one thing, especially after sorry, old neighbor, don't remember your name. I still have your plate. I still have your guidebook for Kingdom Hearts. It's in my room. I still have it. I know I said I'd give it back. If you find me, if you remember me, you can have it back. Some of the pages are a little bent. That was my bad. I was a kid. But that was probably, at least for me, if I had to think off the top of my head, probably one of the first games that I remember constantly just playing over and over. That in Pokemon Blue. That was another turn-based game that I remember just constantly going back and just beating it, saying, okay, I'm going to turn it off, turn it back on, reset it. Let's go through with Bulbasaur this time. Let's try to only go through with grass types. Let's try to go through with only a Rattata this time. See how that turns out.
Yeah. And that's kind of interesting that you said that. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you don't really think about Pokemon as a turn-based game. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of flows by so quick that it doesn't even really feel like a turn-based. At least to me, it doesn't. So.
Yeah, it's not something that like might at first it might not pop into your head as such, just because of the brand itself. I mean Pokemon at this point it's a huge anime series. It's a huge toy company. That's basically how they're making their money at this point. But it's definitely a huge turn-based game, especially with Sword and Shield out right now. I think the DLCs are coming out in a couple days, maybe a week or so. So I'm definitely excited to check that out. I just picked it back up again. Completely forgot where I was at in the game, so I'm definitely gonna have to invest some more time in that. But what are your thoughts, Cam?
So that's actually, to be honest with you, Sword and Shield, and a few other games actually, are one of the few games that are kind of making me like, ooh, do I really want to get a Switch right now? Do I want to get a Switch? I'm going to wait. Because prices, I don't think, have budged at all, really. And plus, they're selling out like crazy. So
I haven't checked lately.
Yeah, I've been listening to a few people that I listen to, Kind of Funny Games daily. Newswave. They've all kind of touched base on that a little bit. So shout out to, again, Greg Miller, Blessing Adeoye Jr., everybody from Kind of Funny Games. Definitely love your content. I learned a lot from you guys, and thank you very much for the nerdy funny news that I need to know about. So good stuff there. But I mean, like, yeah, they kind of touched base a little bit about that and everything. And there's also another, who is it? There's another article that I don't know, I was listening to or I was reading, but long story short, they were saying that if you want to get any Switches right now, I think GameStop is actually the way to go because they have bundles. So GameStop is actually the way that you want to actually go with that, until they start kind of jacking the price up. Then at that point, you might want to start looking elsewhere. But I think Amazon right now, they get the most bang for your buck if you want to Switch is going to be GameStop. So. For me, as far as the game that made me a gamer, so sit back, relax, because you're going for a ride. Okay, so pretty much, as I have always been, when I was younger, I've always been into Tekken. I've always been into sports games, some shooters, pretty huge in the racing, and of course fighters at that time. So Mortal Kombat, Tekken again, and with Killer Instinct, those were all my jams. But then you could only, at least for me, you could only play those types of games for so long because the content never really changes. Either win or you lose. You either live or you die. There's not really a whole lot there. One of my buddies, Justin Olinger, shout out to you, Justin Olinger. Justin Olinger was like, "Yo, you need to check out Final Fantasy VII." I was like, "All right, cool." So I borrowed it. I can't remember who I borrowed it from, but I borrowed it from somebody, and that game was so boring It was so boring to me. I just could not. I couldn't understand it. Like, it was turn based. At least that's what it felt like. And I was like, "Yo, how can anybody? How can anybody get into this?" And so it was so bad to me that I just turned it off and didn't want to play it again. A year or so later, one of my other buddies had said like, "Yo, have you played Final Fantasy 8?" And I was like, I don't want to play 8. I played 7. I don't even know how they got up that high. Like, I just don't want to play. Like, I'm just thinking that this is sequel after sequel after sequel. And he's like, no. 8 has nothing to do with 7. And I was like, wait, what? And he's just like, yeah, it's a whole different story. He's like, try it out. And I was like, I don't know. He's like, if you don't like it, just go ahead and try it. If you don't like it, I'll never ask you to play another Final Fantasy again. I was like, all right, cool. I mean, I'll have to buy it. I'm just going to borrow it. Let me go ahead and play 8. 8, when I played 8, I loved it so much that when I heard that 7 was actually better than 8, I went back to play 7. So 8 started off very strong for me. Squall, the whole game, that started off super strong for me. Went back and played 7, still hated it. I couldn't understand it. I was like, yo, this is so boring. But I was powering through because I loved 8 so much, and I wanted to see what the hype was about 7. The minute when I woke up, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but not really, because it's been out since, 1997, so you had time to play it.
Yeah, you got plenty. At this point, you've had plenty of time. Spoilers, not really. You've had time.
Yeah, so the moment when Cloud and his entire group, when they get caught and get put into prison, I was like, okay, how am I going to get out of this? Wake up the next morning, doors open. Blood's everywhere. There's sword shillings and sword scrapes all over the walls. And it's just like, at that moment, back in that time period, at that moment, it went from an RPG to me to a horror game. And I don't like horror games, but went to from that to a horror game. And I was like, what is going on? Follow the blood trail all the way to the top. See President Shinra right there with a long sword in his back. And that's when you find out about Sephiroth. The moment I found out about Sephiroth, that changed my entire perspective of the game. The moment I found out about Sephiroth and I started finding out about his story, this dude was so dirty. He was so legit. Probably one of the best villains I've ever encountered. And just to see the stuff that he did when you're trying to get to him. And then the rest of the game, you're like, I don't want to run into this dude, but I want to keep playing because I want to see how it ends. That's exactly what was going on. And as you started leveling up too as well, like those ATB meters, that's the reason why it's not turn-based. It feels turn-based because it's like they attack, you attack, they attack, you attack. But ATB starts going faster to where it's almost like you attack, they attack, you attack. So it's like almost like it's more action and tactical. That's what it kind of feels like.
And I do like that.
Yeah.
I do like that they have that meter so it doesn't constantly feel like the game is stalling, waiting on you to respond.
Right.
Or it's actually giving you a little bit more of a sense of an active type of play style.
Right. And that was my biggest thing. That's the reason why I couldn't get into it at first, because I felt so slow, and I was just like, and I only had a couple of abilities. Like I had attack, magic, and items. And my magic only had like 2 abilities, which was like ice and lightning. So it was just like I wasn't really I didn't give it the good old-fashioned college try, and next thing you know, now that's my favorite game. That is the game. And I actually take that philosophy, and I didn't mean to spend this much time on it, but I take that philosophy for games, for animes, for books, for so many different things. I try to give it longer than that, and I'm glad I did, because now I was able to come across so many different animes, so many different games that happen to be gems because I gave it a good lengthy shot. Sometimes they start off slow, you know what I mean? Sometimes they're like Attack on Titan, picks up like that right at the last 5 minutes of the show. And the other times it's
right
like,
out the gate.
Yeah, and then other times it's like Black Clover, to where it actually doesn't start getting good till episode 16, 17. So
that was definitely a little bit of a bummer, but it still great series.
Right. So that will conclude. We'll save more of those remakes for next Monday, which, by the way, we're going to try to do this every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in case you guys are wanting to tune in and discuss with us. And of course, by all means, just like kind of normal, you're welcome to follow us. Hit the notification bell if you're on YouTube. Hit the like button and leave your comments in below. And we'll be sure to respond to you as soon as we can, because we care about you guys. We do.
You care about you.
All right, so
You gotta care about the people.
so Shelby, next
Sir.
on the list was the game predictions and predictions of when the PS5 event was going to happen. That has dropped. So
I mean,
it was.
we had a whole thing planned. We really did.
Yep.
Just
And
last minute.
yep, and like I was at work and I was just like, "Hey, Shelves, we're gonna go and do this." And then next thing you know, I get a notification. Oh, Sony, by the way, June 11th, 1 p.m. Was it Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when it's going to drop. I was like, okay, there goes that segment, but we're still going to talk about it. First and foremost, I support Black Lives Movement, so I definitely appreciate what Sony did, whether it was for them moral beliefs or whether it was as a business standpoint. It feels encouraging to know that there are people out there that do care about us and that do care about all races in general. Yes, it is all lives that matters, but at this time period, it's Black lives that are suffering out there in the streets. Point blank, no argument there. It just happens. And I apologize if that offends any of you guys, but at the same time, I don't apologize because it's facts. It's what's been happening.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And if you want to have a conversation about it, you can always inbox me or leave a comment down below, and I will get back to you in inbox. So, but anyway, I definitely as a gamer, I was bummed that they did that last Thursday. As again, I'm very excited though to see that it's going to be returning this Thursday. So, no predictions as far as when they're going to be dropping that. I am curious, however, of what games we're going to be seeing. So, Shelby, what do you think we are going to be seeing this Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for PlayStation News?
So, I definitely think that we're definitely going to be seeing some new games. I definitely think that we're going to be seeing some new sports games for sure. That's I feel like that typically tends to happen a little bit more often, just so that way they can try to get a little bit more of a rounded off type of feel for it. It honestly, I don't really know too much of what to expect, really. That's actually been a feeling that I haven't had in quite a while. It really feels really good to kind of have it feel as a surprise. I'm not quite sure everything that they're going to address, but as somebody who's been a long time fan of PlayStation, I've been taking a backseat from keeping up with too much of the PlayStation 5 news, just because I've really wanted more of it to come out before I start to really look into it. But so far from what I've seen, it looks really good, and I'm really excited to see what they have in store.
Okay. I honestly don't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I have no idea. Yeah. They're saying articles are saying that it's going to be over an hour, and I think I even saw somewhere else where it's 2 hours long. I will. By the way, we are going to be live streaming that for any of us. There's more than just me and Shelby. That's at least we try gaming. Just giving you guys a heads up. You guys are going to see Mildewy Carrot. You guys are going to see Bleeding Aces, Ohio. Of course, these are their gamer tags, not their real names. There's several different of us. I think there's roughly about 10 of us. That's part of this. This team, this stream team, if you will. So, you
gotta have a big team.
Yeah, you got to. But Shelby, aka Gravity, and your boy Cameron, aka Flash, aka Malachi 36. Yes, we are definitely going to be trying our best to stream the video live. We were going to have a reaction video to it. We're going to look at it. Yes, I love PlayStation. That's no secret. That doesn't mean they get a pass. They have to bring the heat. They have to make sure that they are showing exclusives that are appealing to me. They have to be making sure that I would like to see the system. I frankly would like to see the system. We see the controller.
At this point, they have
dope.
to.
Yeah, I agree. And I like the controller. I like the way it looks. So it gives me that whole Detroit Become Human vibe. Has a microphone built into the controller, so you don't even have to get another mic, which I thought was really cool. And then it's a dual sense controller too. It's not dual shock, it's dual sense. So I'm very curious to see what the full features are going to be. They're going to talk about it, of course. They talked about it previously a lot. I'm wondering if they could talk about it more at this event. But they can talk about it all they want, but at the end of the day, I'm going to have to experience the controller for myself. But as far as games, I have no idea what to expect. There have been rumors as far as PlayStation 5 ending with Demon Souls. It's either Demon Souls or Dark Souls, but they're talking about doing a Demon Souls remaster for the PS5. So I also had noticed that as far as the podcast that I have been listening to and stuff like that, a lot of people are kind of confused about why they would remaster a Demon Souls a PS5 version, and they're thinking that they could just have the PS4 version and just boost it on the PS5. I honestly don't know. So it'll be kind of interesting to see if Sony takes that route or if they're going to be doing something different with it. Horizon Dawn 2, that might be something that'll be coming in the mix. That's also been rumored too as well. I'm not sure if they're going to show any more additional content for Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not sure if they're going to show any more additional contents for The Last of Us 2. I don't think they're going to show anything about Cyberpunk 2077. So I literally have no idea what they're going to be showing. I am excited. I definitely want to see the features. I definitely want to see the system. I would like to see more games, more gameplay versus game trailers, because that's what Xbox Series X unfortunately did before. And to touch base on that, because again, I think some people, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are over it now, but if you take Xbox Series X as what they did as a whole, they actually had a really good presentation. The issue is how they presented it. That's exactly how it was. They made it sound like it was going to be gameplay. And then also there's little tidbits throughout the video where it's saying, stay tuned for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Stay tuned for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Then you get to Assassin's Creed Valhalla and it's like, oh, just joking. Like that's pretty much how it felt like. So I get it why a lot of people are upset. Yeah. And again, like you guys already know, I'm PlayStation Nation all day. But at the end of the day, I love all games. And that's actually why I did watch Xbox Series X, because I wanted to see if I should be picking up Xbox Series X as well. I also wanted to see what third-party games are going to become on the PS3, so that way I could see if there's a general interest. There really wasn't a lot that really interests me there. There was a few games that were cool. I first thought Bright Memory looked awesome. I thought that looked awesome, but then when I started looking at it more and more and more, I was like, all right, I don't know anymore. I don't know if this is something that will hold my interest for the next couple weeks. And also, it's impressive that Bright Memory. Oh, Shelby, Bright Memory is made by one person. One person.
That's right.
Yeah, one person made Bright Memory. Yeah, that's
it
insane.
Looks really good too.
Yeah.
It's it doesn't even look like some sort of small indie title. Like, it actually looks really good.
Yeah.
Considering that it was just one person that did the whole thing.
Yeah. They had ray tracing like crazy. That's the thing. Like that's the reason why I didn't hear any content as far as how long the game is. I don't know how many hours of gameplay that's going to be submitted into it. I don't know how much it's truly going to be, just because again, it is made by one person. So it might be something that's like, for me, I beat Asura's Wrath back on PS3. I love Asura's Wrath, but I beat it within, I think it was like 4 or 5 hours. I beat it very quickly. I was disappointed with that. That's the part that's kind of interesting. I bought Asura's Wrath that morning, went to my girlfriend's house at the time, was playing it, beat it that same day. So I was just like, all right, well, that's a story. Let me go ahead and take this back to the GameStop and try to see if I can get my money back. They wanted $18 for it, and I just paid $60.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, I think it's a little different now. I think that for some games, like for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, if you had, I think it was like 2 days. If you you had two or 3 days to play it. If you didn't like it or whatever like that, within those 2 or 3 days, you take it back and go for a refund. So GameStop has since then stepped it up a little bit and adjust their policies quite a bit. But at that time period, I was really hating that. But I kept the game. Eventually, later down the road, I ended up selling it anyway.
I mean, I have the digital version, so I've been downloading a lot of my games digitally these days. So I haven't had the opportunity to actually return them or resell them. So, which on one hand is, I don't really mind that much, but on the other hand, it's I kind of wish I had that option sometimes, just because there are those titles that you'll buy for $60 and you're like, oh, this this was okay. It wasn't worth $60. I kind of wish I would have spent my money on something different. It was nice to try the game, but yeah, I mean that definitely kind of could open up conversations into game rentals, video game rentals. Do we know if Stadia is doing game rentals, or if it's just like strictly stream? You purchase the game, streaming it that way.
It probably is a purchase of stream, but to be honest with you, I've not paid
Yeah.
any attention to Stadia or Amazon.
I really haven't either.
Yeah.
I have. Oh my, I completely forgot about Amazon. Quite honestly.
Well, I think Amazon's just doing games. I don't think they're doing a gaming system. I think they're just doing games, but I could be
Right.
wrong though. I haven't looked too much into that. Do you recall the game Kingdoms of Amalur?
No, I don't.
So whenever you get a moment, take a look. All right, so quick version of it: Kingdoms of Amalur, Kirk Schilling, ex-baseball player, had somehow convinced Rhode Island to give him money because, or I guess fund or whatever the case is, the project, because he had convinced them that he was going to pretty much have the next game that's going to rival World of Warcraft, which kind of confuses me because. Ooh. Though Kingdoms of Amalur to me was a great game, it was a great game. Mm-hmm. It's nothing to compete against World of Warcraft with. If anything, you should have competed against like Fable or maybe even Elder Scrolls, in my opinion. But I believe again the game was great. The game was good. You couldn't jump in it. That was a little frustrating, but. And the way the game looks, it looks like there should be a jump button. But but the game itself was great. However, and I think there's like one expansion, but based on promotion and everything like that, it just didn't make the money that it needed to make in order to break even with Rhode Island and also get a profit or whatever the case is. So pretty much that series had tanked. That game had tanked. THQ now owns the rights, and I believe they're actually going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a remaster or a remake, but I believe they're actually going to be doing that. I think it's like September or August. I have to look that up. But yeah, but we'll have to. They're going to be doing that. So with that previous current announcement on that, and that might be a leak to be honest with you. On that current announcement on that, I'm wondering if that is going to make an appearance on the PlayStation 5 event, or do you think THQ, if official, if THQ is going to go ahead and just have their own event with that?
That's a good question. I feel like they'll probably have their own event with that. If they do it with the PlayStation 5, I feel like it might be like a very quick thing that they kind of just kind of like, oh, and this is also a game that we have for the PlayStation 5. I feel like with the PlayStation 5, like whatever they're gonna showcase, they're gonna showcase, it's gotta be something that really emphasizes the hardware. At least in my opinion, I think that. With this event, kind of showing off the PlayStation 5, it's really got to show what the limits that this system can be pushed to really kind of separate it between that, the PS5 and the PlayStation 4, just to really kind of emphasize that.
And that's the thing is that when they announced the PlayStation 5 event happening, they were pretty much making it sound like it was going to be strictly games. It didn't sound like that they were inclining on showing the console. So that's the part that's a little like,
right.
I wonder, but there's always room for that little, here's all these games. By the way, this is what it looks like. And then just kind of talk about that a little bit.
Right.
And then maybe on the next event that they have, because they're supposed to be having a series monthly of events, just like how Xbox Series X is doing. Maybe on the next event, they'll go ahead and be like, all right, this is what the PS5 can do, all that good stuff. And maybe even then we'll actually get a price. I don't think we're going to get a price this Thursday. If you had to put a price,
probably not.
Yeah, if you had to put a price on the PS5, how much do you think it would be?
Honestly, I feel like this has been a trend lately with a lot of tech devices. I'm thinking it could be close to 1,000 starting off.
Oh my goodness, that is really high.
I'm thinking it is really high, but hear me out here. I'm thinking it might start close to 1,000, maybe around the $800 range.
Okay.
I mean, especially if they're really pushing the hardware on this one to its limits, I definitely think that they're going to want to try to get a little bit more money out of it. because I definitely think they're going to really be still putting a lot of life into the PlayStation 4 for a little while into the PlayStation 5's early life cycle. So I definitely think that they're probably going to try to get some money out of it for sure. But I think that at least with the trend that I've seen with a lot of hardware, a lot of tech devices nowadays, like a lot of them are getting close to that $1,000 range starting off. I know that especially with the PlayStation 2, right off the bat, they had a super high price, and they might start off with like a really high price announcement, and then they might drop it by a couple $100 by launch date. So
see,
it's who knows?
I was about to say, from what I'm hearing from you, I'm not paying rent come November or October. But I think I don't. Yeah, I was about to say I don't think it's gonna be that high because for a simple fact is here. One, I think that I personally think that PlayStation 3, that when that came out, that was like $500, $600 at drop, and that suffered because of it being too high. So that's one reason why. So I think it's gonna be a little bit less. But also on top of that, at least for people that are estimating by the tech that's in there, Xbox Series X and Lockhart, actually, even Lockhart, which is a stripped down version of Xbox Series X, like a cheaper version. A lot of people are thinking that Lockhart's going to be $199, maybe even $299, and then Xbox Series X itself is going to be about $499 or $399. So, with that being
especially
said,
if they're going to try to compete, they got to keep around the same price range.
Yeah, I was about to say, with that being said, and trying to keep costs low, because that was actually something that Mark Cerny had said at his talk at the beginning of the year. With that being said, I don't see it being more than 500. I think it's going to be. I'm hoping for 400. I don't think it's going to be 400 either. I think it's going to be closer to 450.
Well, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 450, 500 max. Anything above 500 is a little intimidating, and at that point a lot of consumers might be going back to Xbox Series X, because again, that has happened with the Xbox One and PS3. Like PS3 was skyrocketing high, and Xbox had to humble them. So
yeah, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong.
My apologies.
I thought it
wasn't Xbox. Yeah, it was 360. Yeah, you're right. It was an Xbox One.
It was a 360. Yeah, because I remember at the time I couldn't afford the newest PlayStation console at the time, and all my friends had the 360. So I actually had, I had my own part-time job that I saved up money and actually was able to afford the 360. Which that was actually something that pushed me towards Xbox. So that's definitely something Sony and PlayStation are going to have to keep in mind with this release.
Right.
Is they got to make sure that they're keeping it around that same price range to make sure that.
So your cat?
No, you know what? No, it's the girlfriend. She's, I believe she's ordering food. So.
All right. Hi, Abby.
Abby says hi.
All right. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off. That just threw me off.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, what I was saying. Yeah, you know, I feel like PlayStation really has this pattern of, you know, announcing a new console and putting it at just like a ridiculously high price range and then dropping it down. You know, and I don't know if that's maybe some sort of stunt to try to get people's attention towards how expensive it is, and saying, oh, well, you know what, you know, the value of the system is this much, but, you know, like, we want to get the game and, you know, the console into your guys' hands and lower it to this price. But you know, if they really want to make sure that they don't push people towards this Xbox Series X, they're really going to have to try to keep that in mind.
Right. And I think,
if they're going to have that. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, I think that's the reason why I think that they're going to. That's part of the reason why we're not hearing a price right now, is because when the Xbox One came out, it was listed at $500, or I think it was $400. It was $400 when it first came out. After Xbox One had announced their price, and that was at the time where they were just like, oh, well, it's going to have a built-in Connect. A lot of people didn't like that.
Oh, shit.
Sony went ahead and undercut
don't even
them.
Get me started with the Connect.
Yeah, and Sony went ahead and undercut them with the price, and it was just like, okay, you're a full $100 cheaper. So Xbox, calm down, sir, and Sony, hello. that's how it kind of was with a lot of. I mean, I got my PS4 day one off of that, and I'm already a Sony dude, Sony boy. So I mean, I'm of course I'm going to love my PlayStation, but that just was a ceiling deal for me. I didn't have to even think about it, because again, it helps that that PlayStation has more of the games I want to play, but this just even helps even more. That's $100 cheaper than the next competing console. So. So going on to the next subject, what are some games you are currently playing?
Oh man, actually, we've already been talking about it. I've been playing the OG Final Fantasy VII. Actually, I actually just bought it while it was on sale not too long ago on my PlayStation 4, and when I was actually going to play it on my PlayStation 4, but years and years ago when I played it, for the first time, I actually played it on my PSP, and I actually dug out my PlayStation Vita recently, which that dinosaur, if you can even still call it that, was it maybe a decade old, about roughly?
Yeah.
Maybe like 9 years, but yeah, like I personally love portable consoles, which is why I have the Switch. I wanted to play it on the go. I want to be able to play it on my couch. I want to be able to play it in the living room. I want to be able to play it in the bedroom. I want to be able to play it in the bathroom. Like you want to be able to play it wherever you go.
Right.
And honestly, the Vita does a pretty good job playing it too. Other than the Seven Deadly Sins mobile game, if you haven't checked that out, I know I've sent you some stuff about it. Definitely, it's definitely, honestly, in terms of mobile games, probably one of the best mobile games I've ever played, and that's not even not sponsored at all. I just not sponsored at all. I'm one of those people who, where if I see a lot of advertisements for a particular game, especially a mobile game, it's gonna push me away. It's if I constantly see you trying to say like play my game, I'm not gonna play your game specifically because you're telling me to play your game, but like I love the Seven Deadly Sins anime. I tried it out. It feels like it is probably like at the verge of almost being console level, in my opinion. The graphics for it are really great. It is a turn-based style. They have live online PvP, so that way you can compete with other people online. My girlfriend just made her little cameo over there. She is so much better than me at this game. Like, I had a full week or two ahead of her. She is blown past me. She crushes everybody that she plays online. And she's like, play me again on PvP. And like, you're gonna beat me. You're just gonna you're just rubbing it in at this point.
She's padding her stats.
Honestly, she doesn't even need to. I don't get it. Like she is one of those casual gamers that's like, yeah, I'll play it, and then she just gets super into it and just becomes incredibly, just makes me look like a fool.
So definitely good stuff there. I've been playing a lot of Smite, and definitely, of course, whenever you guys get a chance to, if you ever see ALWT Gaming on Smite Night, feel free to jump inside the chat, leave some comments, check us out. We usually have some pretty funny content. Trevin is probably one of the most hilarious dudes I've ever met in my life. He always has something witty to say. Chris, same thing. And by the way, that's Ohio and Bleeding Aces. Those are mainly the primary people I play with, but of course we all try to get a little slice of the pie on that one. Also been playing a lot of FIFA 20 lately. It's been working that itch. Has been working that itch. So I'm definitely happy about that. And then also, here's one thing that made me proud. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this because we've already been, I think, over an hour, and we still have a few more topics to go through. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. One thing about FIFA that I had noticed is FIFA 17, 18, 19 all had stories called The Journey, and they all connected. They were all wonderful. It was great. It was an incentive to play a sports game because, let's face it, for the past couple years, football, baseball, basketball, there really hasn't been a whole lot that's been enticing you to get the game. So it needed something a little bit more, in my opinion. Journey mode was awesome to me. The last bit of Journey mode ended in 19. So I was thinking, all right, I'm probably not going to pick up 20 because there's not going to be really incentive for me to play it. Picked up 20 anyway. Was playing the career familiar. Was playing online familiar. Decided to go ahead and, after a couple months, I didn't even play it right away, but after a couple months, decided to give Volta a try. That is FIFA Street Story. That is a campaign. Create your own futsal player. Yeah, it was awesome. It is completely awesome, and I'm very glad I got it.
Definitely piqued my interest.
Yeah, it's actually right now it's like $10 for the Days of Play store. It's $10. So go ahead, get yourself a copy of FIFA. Add Malachi 36 to your PSN. Let's game together. Let's do this. Yeah. So I'm very, very pleased with FIFA 20. Very excited to see what they're going to do with FIFA 21. Madden, I can care less because they lied to me straight up about the campaign for that one. You played two or three games in college, go to the NFL, and that's it. There is no story content, and they're making it sound like it was a career mode. That was a switch and bait, and I did not like it. Or bait and switch, whatever. Did not like it. Did not like it. But so until Madden gets their stuff together, they will not be getting a purchase from Flash. But FIFA, been playing that. Playing a lot of Warzone, of course, with the boys. And I'm also starting up, trying to get through Anthem. I have a lot of games to get through, so I'm trying to get through Anthem. And I'm also trying to get through.
Pick that back up.
Yeah, and I just started Monster Hunter World. I've already, as you guys already know, I've already beat Final Fantasy VII Remake, love it. Beat Spider-Man, love it. Beat Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, loved it after a certain point. Towards the very beginning, it was very familiar. If this game came out at least 4 or 5 years ago, this game would have been a 10 out of 10 easily. But since it came out the time that it did come out, it was kind of slow because it felt very familiar. But then after, I want to say right when the androids start kicking in and sell, that's when it starts feeling like, okay, now I'm feeling like how this game should be. And it was feeling great. And I think the DLC for Dragon Ball Super is out, so definitely got to check that out. I haven't picked that up yet, but definitely check it out.
I definitely need to pick that back up.
Yeah. I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it a lot. Now it's time for Hello, My Name is Randy. And what that is, okay, what that is, Chris, Ohio, he calls random players Randy. All right? I don't know if that was something he came up with or if that's something that he got from something else, but common expression from him, Randy. So this is the time period that we kind of discuss our experiences with a random player, whether that's a random teammate or even a random enemy, whether it's good, whether they carried us and they were just the god of gaming, or whether they just completely tanked and were absolute garbage. So since we haven't gamed together in a while, Shelves, what is your most memorable experience of a random player?
Oh, jeez. That is, jeez. Let me see. I'd probably pick Fortnite. That was actually a game that myself, my girlfriend Abby, good buddy of ours Levi, we're all playing together with this Randy. And it was during the Star Wars event where they still had lightsabers. I don't know if they still have lightsabers in it. I haven't checked it out in a while. Probably one of my most recent memories of doing that was when we were playing. We were able to pick up some lightsabers, and our buddy Levi, I believe, was running around as Kylo Ren. The other Randy was running around as Rey. And our buddy Levi had the blue lightsaber, and our buddy, our Randy had the red lightsaber. And there was just this whole interaction of just trying to communicate with this guy because we weren't speaking over the mic. We all three were, but we weren't talking with our Randy friend. But it was just like one of those interactions of just trying to communicate without words. Just dropping the lightsaber and just squatting back and forth, nice. Just like leaning, like just pointing the gun back, at the lightsaber and back up at him, and then just them swapping lightsabers, jumping around, breaking everything. It's definitely one of those moments where when you try to communicate without words and it just works out, it's always really funny to watch.
Okay, all right. For me, I actually have two. I have two, and I have to mention them.
You overachiever.
These are just most memorable. So the first one I have to say is from Smite back on PC when it was still in beta. So it still haven't hit consoles yet. Towards the beginning era of me playing it, was doing Conquest, wasn't really the greatest at it. Let's just keep it real. I'm a lot better now. But at the time I was kind of struggling. I was the Randy. But this Randy that we had was actually carrying Athena, and she wrecked house. We were at our what's it called? In League of Legends it's called the inhibitor. I'm drawing a blank of what it's called right now. But our Phoenix, or I don't think it's called Phoenix. But anyway, our inhibitor pretty much was being attacked. It just got destroyed. Athena had ulted on me, and she taunted the entire team. That team of 5 in one taunt. And next thing you know, we just wiped them. Like, just completely wiped them. I'm underleveled. This Athena is the only thing that's working for our team, and she carried us to victory. It was probably one of the nastiest combos I've seen from a tank. And that's a tank. And then the other one would have to be my FIFA, which actually just most recent. There's 2 Randys out of that one. We end up doing the drop-in match. Here I am working on my PC that I'm actually recording from now. Just recently got this thing, so very excited about that. And that's also part of the reason why we're starting to do this podcast. So anyway, I was playing FIFA at the same time as me setting up this PC and everything like that. And the team I had was good at passing, was good at shooting, was good at dribbling, was good at positioning. It was really good. Like 4 out of 5 of us were actually doing what we're supposed to be doing. So it made me very happy. But here I am trying to set up my PC. So I'm like halfway playing thinking I sucked. Got a few assists in there. I think I may have gotten 1 goal. Right after the game had happened, they reached out to me through Messenger, sent me a friend request. Then they invited me to the party, and they're like, "Yo, you are nasty. Like, you were definitely you were the playmaker." And I was like, "Thanks, man. I thought I was sucking because I was working on my computer at the same time." They're like, "You're working on your computer?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "You're nasty." like it was just really, and the 3 of us built a really good bond ship. The next thing you know, we're gonna start going ahead and do our league matches at least once a week, which is going to be, we're aiming for Friday. Every Friday is the Betos Wolf FC. So anyone that likes to, Betos Wolves FC, that is Betos, Bayesian, Barbados, Wolves R, and FC. So you guys are welcome. If anyone's trying to join the squad that plays FIFA 20 on here, again, Malachi36 gamer tag, reach out, send an invite, send love, all that good stuff. But yeah, those are my 2 Randy situations. And that is the end of Hello, My Name is Randy. We're going to be doing that every Monday when me and Shelbs discuss and talk games with you guys. Army of 2, multiplayer co-op adventures. That's what this is. So, of course, we know that Army of 2 is a video game. Yeah. Well, of course, we know that that Army of 2 is a video game. We already know that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about squatting up, me Shelbs, me Rich, me Trev Shelbs, Ethan Shelbs, whatever the case is. We're trying to get these action adventure games going that are cooperative play that we can actually go through together and be as a unit. If you will, think of like the old school Turtles in Time Ninja Turtles. Now think of that. Those types of games. It doesn't have to be a side scroller or anything like that, but what are some games that you guys have for us that we should get and play together and beat? Diablo 3, Diablo 2, Anthem, whatever it is. Drop them in the comments below. We'll definitely check that out. We're not going to choose a game today to play, primarily because this is our first episode. So we're going to give it some time to breathe. And if no comments in the sections, we'll go ahead and choose our own game. And we'll talk about that over the weekend. Let's take a look here. We're going to skip reviews and ratings for today, game reviews and ratings, and yeah, that will actually wrap it up. That'll actually wrap it up for our first episode. We'll definitely have a lot of content to talk about, but first and foremost, the first thing that's going to be happening is the PS5 event that's happening this Thursday. That's the biggest news that's coming up. You guys are probably going to be watching other podcasts, but if you decide to join us for our live feed, please feel free to do so. We would love to have you. Shelves, it is time to dismiss. Where can our viewers find us at?
Well, you guys can find us all over the place. You can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/ALWT Gaming. Patreon. We have a Patreon. Why not? You want to support us? That's great. If not, please stick around. Give us a watch. Give us a listen. We still appreciate the company. We're very lonely people. At least I am.
Yeah.
You can, you can check us out at Patreon at patreon.com/ALWT Gaming, Facebook and Instagram at ALWT Gaming. You can find us on Twitter at we_least. And send us an email. Why not? Send us an email. If you want to send us a quick little thing, long little thing, why not? Want to have a discussion with us? We're perfectly open to discussions. Send us an email at leastwetried.gaming@gmail.com.
All right. Well, that again, thank you very much for your pleasure on that, Shelps. We are definitely going to be having again more content, giveaway content, actually, for anyone that does know me on a personal level. I also, on a side note, I have a shoe line called Ohio Millionaire. So we might have a little, Millionaire of Ohio. Obviously, I'm not a millionaire right now, but it's just the feeling that makes you feel like a millionaire where you're walking in shoes. Walk wealthy. So pretty much, I'm going to have something special coming back for that. Been kind of taking a little break for the whole COVID-19 issue at hand. And now that things are starting to open back up, I'm going to get back inside the shoe game. And we're going to start it off in a big way, in a good way, in a fun way. So until then, thank you very much for tuning in to At Least We Try Gaming, ALWT Gaming. You guys have a blessed day. Stay blessed, stay rest, and let's get out of this mess.